This article is entitled The Crazy Christians versus the Rest of the World. When looking at some of the things that are going on in the modern Christian church, it is not surprising to find that non-Christians are being put off by what they are seeing. I've also been a victim of some of these so-called Holy Ghost-filled antics. When I used to go to a church and was younger, where one time I ended up sitting next to a woman who I knew liked to get going when the music started. I remember looking at her face at the beginning, and it looked calm, but her eyes did seem to be staring a bit. When it was finally time for the long chorus, I braced myself for the takeoff, and she eventually went into the usual routine that I had seen her using before. I had to sit there doing my best to avoid her stamping feet and moving arms, but the music eventually stopped, so that I could be rescued from that ordeal. From what I could see, this woman could care less about what other people would think about what she was doing, which of course would then make them want to avoid whichever church she is a member of. I have known for a while what the people outside of the church think about the people who are in the modern Christian church, but the time finally arrived where I had the chance to show a church member what the people outside actually think about what they are doing. I was in a library with a church member, and he decided to try a bit of evangelism on the security man that was there, with him using some of the usual things that modern Christians say. He was going on for a bit, so I gently interrupted him and asked the security man if he is put off by some of the crazy things that are happening in the church, and he answered in the affirmative. The church member seemed to ignore what I had said, and carried on with his pitch, so I interrupted again a little while later to ask the security man if the craziness in the church affects whether he would go to one, and he answered in the affirmative again. I then said to the church member that the things that he was saying to try to convince the security man were a waste of time if he does not sort out the crazy bits first, but he just came up with an excuse and still just carried on with his pitch. This plainly showed to me the divide that is obviously there between the sensible people on the outside and the crazy people that are inside the modern Christian church. You might think that these types of people would be under more control, but the unfortunate thing that you will find is that it is actually the crazy people who have been given the power to run things inside the modern Christian church. This then means that each church leader can then just make up how they want the church to be run, and this will usually be in a way that attracts more crazy people, so that they then will be the majority of people who are there. The non-crazy people will then have no way of having their voice heard, so some will eventually leave while others will just stubbornly hold on in silence, because they seem to think that they have to attend a church, regardless of what the people are like, in order to make it to God's kingdom. We can see what the Apostle Paul has to say in relation to this current situation in 1 Corinthians 14:21-25, where it says, "In the law it is written, with men of other tongues and other lips will I speak unto these people, and yet for all that will they not hear me, saith the Lord. Wherefore tongues are for a sign, not to them that believe, but to them that believe not. But prophesying serveth not for them that believe not, but for them which believe. If therefore the whole church be come together into one place, and all speak with tongues, and there come in those that are unlearned or unbelievers, will they not say that ye are mad? But if all prophesy, and there come in one that believeth not, or one unlearned, he is convinced of all, he is judged of all, and thus are the secrets of his heart made manifest. And so falling down on his face, he will worship God, and report that God is in you of a truth." And you can see the comparison that Paul makes here, where if crazy-looking things are going on in a church, then the non-Christians will think that the place has mad people in it, while if things are happening in a sensible and orderly way, then the non-Christians will feel that they have a chance of learning something useful at that church. But the standard excuse that I've heard from the Christians who are in agreement with the crazy things that are happening in the modern Christian church is that God simply has not given them the ability to understand that the crazy things are actually spiritual, while the Apostle Paul clearly says that the church people are required to do things in a sensible way, and it is not the responsibility of the non-Christians to work out what is going on. If you are going to one of these modern Christian churches where crazy things are happening, then now is the time to leave there, because the people there who agree with what is going on do not really care about your soul and will not have a sensible explanation for what is going on. If, on the other hand, you are one of the fortunate ones who do not have to survive the craziness every week, then make sure to stay away from these places, because if you have a chance of making it to God's kingdom, then God will find you a sensible place that you can go to so that you can learn more about what He wants you to do. Okay, so that's just the end of the article, and if you want to see, or I don't know, hear some more, you can even check out some of the others on the website as well. Okay, thanks.